reliable and a total genius when it comes to putting something together at the last minute. Her dating life is practically non-existent though, and everyone has an opinion about that. Her girl best friend, who's married, keeps trying to set her up with stable banker types, while her guy best friend, single and proud of it, encourages her to play the field, no strings attached. Then Carla meets hot, smug, sexy Dante. And he's everything she didn't know she liked. He's also 5 years younger, and she thinks it makes him perfect for the non-relationship she had in mind. What happens to that plan when he thinks he's met the one for him at 24?
No strings attached.
By Mina v. Esguerra. You're gross. Do you realize that she was in grade school while you were a freshman in college? That, my friends, was something I liked telling Tonyo privately after meeting his latest girlfriend for the first time. I didn't mind being judgmental because, well, this was Tonyo and he could take it. And those girls always somehow looked like they were emotionally in elementary school, so I'd say it without really thinking. Tonyo never appeared offended, so maybe it wasn't such a big deal. But he should consider himself avenged by fate, because I was squirming all throughout the drive to meet Dante that morning. I was already practicing in my mind how to defend myself and why this was definitely not the same as those other situations. Because Dante didn't look that much younger, because I didn't look that much older, because Dante was obviously not a ditz, because I didn't need to date someone younger to prove a point to the world, because Dante was well off and not a social climber, because he knew he had kissed an admin assistant who most likely didn't have money or social status, because he didn't know he had kissed someone 5 years older than him. That last part could be the deal breaker for him, and he probably wouldn't want to see me again, so I shouldn't even be freaking out. Besides, 5 years wasn't that bad. I had no idea what to wear, by the way. I wasn't sure why exactly we were meeting at 10:25 in the morning, and figured that I'd be safe by going sporty. Shorts, pink tee, white running shoes, hair, and ponytail. I found a parking lot and winced when I caught my reflection in my sister's car's tinted window. Trying to look young much? Why did Dante want to meet at a clubhouse at an hour when I was usually just rolling out of bed? He wanted to show off. What I managed to catch at 10:25 a.m. was the tail end of what looked like a martial arts class that Dante was giving. Occupying a corner of the indoor basketball court, he stood there with 6 other kids. A few of them seemed to be doing their own thing, kicking and punching and adorably trying to lead. The eldest kid there, he looked about 12, was practicing with an actual wooden staff. The Dante Del Rosario was standing there, and it was embarrassing how hot I found him in those generic blue jogging pants and plain white shirt.
Lower. Your stance should be lower.
He was saying to the cutest little girl wearing what looked like pink silk pajamas. She was sort of squatting, her fists clenched against her waist. A few sets of parents had arrived beside me, and I followed them to a row of benches to wait. When I looked back at Dante, he had... I lost myself.
Left.
He had left the pink pajama girl and taken the older kid's wooden staff. Dante stepped back, held the staff arm's length in front of him, and started to spin it in a figure-8 pattern. His eyes wandered over to me, and he smiled. He stopped spinning the staff.
See that? Relax your shoulders.
He told the boy.
When your shoulders are relaxed, you can let your wrist do the work. And then you can increase the speed.
He winked at me and started up again. Faster this time. I couldn't even see the stick anymore. It was whirring around him like propellers. And then I could hear it, like the stick was cutting into the air.
And that's what you should be working towards. Relax the shoulders, okay?
I made a show of rolling my eyes at him, pretending not to be impressed. Instead of handing the staff back, Dante set it down on the floor and called the rest to the middle. They all started stretching, which was amusing, and then they said, "Thank you, Shifu." It took a while for him to get to me. He had to pass through the parents who were asking questions, making small talk, and I used this time to fish his phone from my bag. Now, I wasn't sure how exactly it was going to be when I saw him again. I was half ready with as many reasons to call it off as ones to keep going, and I was prepared to go either way at the slightest hint. What did I want, though? Never mind what I said before, I wanted to see him again. Dante approached me, but didn't stop at a good safe distance away. He pushed in, borderline invading my personal space, and made himself comfortable at less than arm's length away. He had a faint scarring near his left ear towards his jaw. Didn't notice it before,
I'm glad you're here on time.
he said. I pushed the phone into his chest. Well, you called me 3 times about it. I wasn't gonna forget. Plus, I had to answer or else that silly ringtone would annoy everyone at work.
Adam West back then is a classic. And it worked, right? You were planning to hide from me?
He smiled as he threw his phone into his gym bag.
I didn't want to have you to fight from my mother.
Oh, please don't. I don't think she has the time to track down girls her son needs anyway. Even as I was saying it, I was getting drawn to his mere presence. The sheen of sweat on his forehead, how he was taking slightly shorter breaths. I found out that I'm older than you, I blurted out. What? There was no proper opportunity to sneak it in with a proper segue. He lifted his head, slightly.
How much older?
I'm 29, I said, turning 30 in a few months. Dante paused and then shrugged.
Have you had breakfast? Let's go get breakfast.
No. And by now he was packing up, putting a towel in his bag, zipping it up. I tried again. So that's it? No questions? I heard him clear his throat, and before I realized it, he was back in my space and even closer. And then I felt his lips slightly on the corner of mine. Just the corner, and quickly, and then he was back to being some distance away.
Let's go get breakfast.
He said again in the same tone.
I have many questions.
So yeah, I got my head. I didn't even realize it, but the dates I've been going on for the past few years, boring. I had started to think that it was me, that those were the kind of people I attracted, or that the dating scene for me would only ever be dinner, a movie, awkward hand-holding, and attempts to dodge more intimate acts. I had learned to nod politely and appear to be attentively listening to things I never really cared about, like boxing, the financial markets, or rap music. I learned to anticipate when a guy felt like taking it to the next level and chose that moment to use my secret weapon on them. Yeah, I had a secret weapon for getting rid of suitors. More on that later. I thought that it was pretty much a doomed situation. I went on dates, something fully expected of a 20-something girl, and yet I never met anybody who triggered the kilig reflex again. And the guys my friends set me up with, they weren't bad, they were all okay enough, but I wasn't feeling it. After a while, I chalked it up to growing up, that maybe kilig, that sensation of turning into jiggly mush over romantic things, was something that we lost once puberty passed. Not true apparently, if my entire week was anything to go by. As we settled into a booth at the nearest pancake house and started on what would be a 4-hour meal, I discovered that Dante was a normal guy. He, like other guys I dated before, was into stuff I didn't know about. Martial arts,
Wushu.
He clarified, although I didn't know it from karate, Jose Rizal, Summer Olympics. He grew up in Manila and couldn't relate much to my childhood in Laguna. And like the other guys I dated before, he didn't know much about the stuff that occupied my thoughts. Food trips, uncluttering, supernatural, the TV show, bargain hunting in Divisoria, Sudoku. Not even Sudoku? I asked. He dug into the extra waffle I didn't touch.
No, sorry.
I'm sure there's something we can talk about I'm sure there's something in common we have in common that we can talk about.
We've been here for hours. We're talking.
What he meant was that we spent so long explaining things to each other. No, I mean, I was about to say in the future, but I didn't say it.
Are you bored? People tell me I shouldn't talk about Rizal on the first date. Did that just ruin everything?
In fact, I was quite fascinated by the tidbits he shared from Austin Craig's biography of Rizal. No, it didn't, I admitted.
And you haven't lost me yet, even after you gave, what was that, a complete Supernatural Season 3 recap.
You said you wanted to know what happened.
I did. I really did.
I shook my head and slumped back against my seat. But you're not really into it.
Well, not like you are.
I pouted. I feel like I'm on a date I should be hating. We have nothing in common. Dante leaned forward.
Carla, I'm going to be honest with you about something.
I peeked at him, arms still folded over my chest. What?
I wanted to see you because I'm really attracted to you.
A cough rose out of my throat involuntarily. I scrambled for a tissue. He handed me one.
The day after we met, you decided that you didn't want to see me. That kind of threw me off because I feel like I kind of misrepresented myself that day. I mean, I'm not usually...
Oh no, I'm not usually either.
I wouldn't really do that, like kiss you if I didn't want to see you again. I don't regret that, but it felt weird that didn't want to see me. I mean, I know where you work.
I could feel my face turning red. I'm sorry about that, not about about how I was the day after. It's true though what I said. I didn't know how it would look if I started going out with you. And then I found out that you're 24.
That really bothers you. Do you have a boyfriend?
No, far from it.
And I don't have a girlfriend. What's the problem?
Wow, you made it so simple. It wasn't. Guys didn't ask me out for the heck of it anymore. They dated me because they were looking to settle down and because I happened to be the right age. Knowing that wasn't a comfort. I felt cheated out of something, but I couldn't complain. Because it seemed like the immature thing to do, to hold out for something so unlikely when a practical choice was offering itself to me. He probably didn't understand that, not really, but I expected it. It'd be years if he experienced that, if at all.
I'm not like them.
Dante argued.
They're jerks who want a token wife beside them so they can get it over with. How about this? I won't even talk to you about the future if you're not comfortable with it. No pressure about plans or kids or your age. I don't care about that now.
I thought of Mary, who would probably slap me if she found out that a guy told me, I won't talk to you about the future. And I found it romantic. He pushed forward with a pitch.
What else about them annoys you?
That people assume things about me, that I was looking for a husband, that I needed a better job, that I should have a car, a house, more debt, and have all of it now.
Fine.
Dante said.
That works for me. Be whatever you want to be.